Yo, 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 it's Terrell, Hall of Fame, D-Line, TBKC, all that other good shit. I got coffee this morning, so I'm going to tell you about who I got my coffee from. And y'all better go order some because this is real coffee. I'm not going to go too much into my coffee because I'm going to do a whole nother video because it's delicious. But it's real coffee, not that old canned bullshit. Anyway. This is a serious topic, and it's something that it's not even me preaching to y'all. And I would have went live, and I probably end up going live on this topic. But when is the best time, or when is the right time to start talking about health? When is the right time to start talking about death? And I noticed this thing that we do, right? We love our dogs. I love my dogs. You know what I mean? I love them. But I don't ever think that I've been blinded to the fact of what could be wrong with my dogs, what I need to change, what I should stay away from. And one of the scariest things in our community that I've noticed is when somebody's popular dog dies and people talk about this and like, damn, another one of those dogs didn't die. What was wrong with him? And people get all defensive and shit. You know what I mean? This is a serious question. This is a question that we should be asking. What happened? You know, not to beat the dog down, but to actually get answers, because do we want to keep on doing the same thing over and over and over again? And what I'm telling y'all is people need to stop taking the road that, oh, this was someone's child and this was this and this was that. I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm a football guy, I'm a boxing guy, you know what I mean? I probably had my brain rattled more than I would like to say. And I see NFL football players donating their brains to say, check out my brain and see, use it for science and see how destroyed it was. See if we can find a better way for future health. We see people who donate their bodies who suffer from certain illnesses to be tested on and different things to try to find a way for illness. Now, I'm not saying you have to donate your dog, but what I'm saying is information is the greatest asset that we're ever going to have in making our dogs better. So our thing of, oh my God, you know what I mean? Don't talk about this person's dog because their dog died no, it should be an open topic. And the people who have these dogs die should make it an open topic to say, you know what, maybe I gave too much supplements and the supplements destroyed his kidneys and the doctor said it was a kidney issue, or maybe, you know what I mean, looking back over the line, he had too much of this blood and they was known for having heart attacks. Or maybe it was this, or I got an ecropsy and they said that this was the cause of death and we're going to find out where it comes from. And that's being responsible. I understand it hurts when you lose a pet. Trust me. I cried like a baby when Hallie died. You know what I mean? Shed some tears when De Niro died. It's a hurtful thing. But, I know what they died from. It was nothing that dealt with genetics. One of them got poisoned. The other one died from birth complications. So, we owe this to, our community. I go back some years ago. It was unfortunate that it was going to that first big show in Virginia, and I had Denial. And that Denial was a beautiful girl owned by Dave Wilson. Beautiful, like, weird blue brindle, but she was just Cairo all over, man. That was a beautiful bitch. And I fed her good and I got her heavy, you know what I mean? Tons of chicken. At that time I fed Ukanuba. And we loading up and we got cargo vans and we pulling cars, we loaded. And my brother got back in the van. He said, hey man, look, Denal ain't sort of acting right. All the other dogs, like all dogs, when they see you get in the van, they pop up. So he checked her. She was breathing, but she wasn't responding. I'm shaking her, but she's breathing, and she wasn't even labor breathing. It was like she was asleep, but she was in a coma. Well, what happened is, I said, okay, let's go to this emergency vet. I had used this vet before for, actually they used to give me my certificates to fly puppies out if I needed them at a weird hour or something like that. So we shot her over there, and by the time we got there, she had blood coming from her nose and her mouth, and I'm like, what the fuck? So we get her in there, and the vet tells me, said, man, basically ain't nothing we can do. It's the lungs is pretty full with blood, and it's over. And I was willing to spend the money. And at that time I ended up spending, I think it was nearly another $1,000 because I wanted to find out what happened. So I told him to do the ecropsy, and with that ecropsy we found out, she had a what is it, pulmonary embolism, a blood clot to the lungs that had developed. And I was down on myself a little bit because I was asking this doctor, and I have some medical experience, and I was asking, maybe the extra weight that I put on her, or the stress I was putting on her during conditioning and stuff like that. And he said, no, pretty much it's genetic. He said maybe those factors help bring it along. But what we later saw some of her offspring have trouble. We saw dogs from the Cairo blood have this. It's several dogs in the Cairo bloodline that has had pulmonary embolisms. You know what I mean? And it was out of nowhere. And one thing it did let us know with this certain blood is that maybe it went too tight. We needed to break these genes down, or we needed to eliminate it. It was so sparse, like it wasn't a thing where, oh, you got to eliminate all Cairo blood. But now we have to watch, because the trend was heavily bred Cairo blood. When you noticed a few dogs who did have this, and when I say few, it was only I would say maybe 5 or 6 dogs that had this issue. But it wasn't anything wrong with Cairo. It wasn't anything wrong with the blood. What was wrong is that we had bred too tight. A lot of us loved Cairo. Cairo was the face of it, so we had bred sort of tight, and certain issues were starting to arise. Now, this was one of the more harsh issues, but even with the Cairo blood, some people would know that the tails would start to be bad. And, in Little Rose's case, signs of dwarfism. And it was just because, people loved the blood so much. You know what I mean? It was a lot of using it, and in some cases, maybe it was just in there. But he was a great dog that produced well, for the most part. Well, I tell you the truth, those situations, are hurtful, especially even with it not being my dog. I got, I liked the dog. I had the dog out here for 6 months or longer, working with her and everything. But, we have to take it as what it is. We have to take the lessons, you know what I mean? You have to, for me, after seeing that happen to her, I did pay closer attention to different things. And it's still one of the reasons why, to this day, in my program, knowing that my program has a good amount of, of that blood there, I won't go heavy on it. I typically try to bounce around and stay in other strands of the blood from the Edge family, which I do love Edge blood, and it's nothing, like I say, this is not anything against Edge blood. I believe Edge blood is the best blood, in the American bully community, and hey, just my opinion. We can debate, but it's about learning how to breed these bloods properly, learning the issues that come along with whatever it may be, and breeding accordingly to that. Until we can be honest with ourselves about what we're dealing with, the causes of death, the causes of any kind of ailment, and break these things down and learn how to stay away from them, our community is going to get worse, because we operate under this veil of secrecy based off of people's feelings. And ultimately, it'll be a whole lot more hurt feelings if we don't start doing the right thing. But anyway, man, hopefully the next video will be more sunshiny or some shit. But I'll catch y'all later, man. Much love. Peace.